Well, I like to say that the Olympics, in my opinion, should go ahead because, the athletes who have sacrificed over the last 5 years, the dedication and the hard work they've put in to get to, their goal. I think, the athletes would want to showcase their talent and hopefully, bring some medals back. So, in my opinion, I think, it should go ahead. And there's going to be over, 11,000 athletes at the Olympics this year. And probably, up to, I think, 70 to 80% of them athletes will probably be the only Olympics that they will ever, get a chance to compete. So, for athletes' point of view, they've put in so much sacrifice in the mental and the physical preparation. It'll be very disappointing to see that if the Olympics do get cancelled, unless there is an outbreak amongst the Olympic Village, which touch wood, that doesn't happen.
What else has caught your eye this week, Monty? What's the standout moment so far of the Olympics for you?
Well, I think one moment has been very significant. Mohammed Sibahi, who is the first Muslim rower for Great Britain, back in 2016, in Rio, he competed in his first Olympics, and he is going to be the, first Muslim to be the flag bearer, and that is some huge significance, especially, for the community in this country, people from the ethnic, minority. I think something that, we tend to see a lot of, people following cricket, possibly football, but the Olympics isn't something that they have a huge interest. And this is, what attract a new audience, but also a great, initiative by the GB, Olympic team to actually really promote, people, from the ethnic minorities and showcase, that how good they are as athletes as well.
And what else, Monty, has caught your eye outside of the Olympics?
Well, also is a concussion, sports in concussion as well. Now, we had Nick Evans, who was a flanker of the Wales women's rugby team. And unfortunately, when she played her first game at Twickenham, she got concussed and doesn't really have much memory of it. She suffered from that. And we've had football as well. Some footballers who suffer from dementia and concussion. In cricket as well, we've seen, some people, with the bouncer, fast bouncers being hit on the head and, get concussed. And yet, the sports media and the digital UK committee, which is a government committee, hasn't really, established any protocols for the women's or the men's sport and how to deal with concussion. So, I do believe that the medical officer needs to be employed for every sporting event, every major, event, especially England games. There should be just a dedicated, doctor or medical officer for the concussion, because this is a serious injury that has huge repercussions for athletes in years to come.
Monty, why has it taken so long to get the attention on concussion? Because, there have been reports for many years around head injuries in sports and whether protective headgear should be worn or not, and who should be present at matches and tournaments to make sure athletes are safe. Well, why has it taken so long, do you think?
Well, this is a whole kind of debate everyone's, having at the moment amongst the governing bodies and the government, that why hasn't there been, protocols in place? And, there's a research that actually, came out with Swansea University in 2020. They talked about how, in women's sport, when they get concussed, they actually get, at the same force, they'll get, more severe sort of head injuries than the men's. And obviously, physiologically, they are different as well. So, the protocols for concussion, for both men and women, it's 20 years ago when Jeff Astle, unfortunately, passed away because of dementia, and they haven't still done anything about this. Now, in the next 12 months, I think they should have some sort of protocols in place, because, athletes' safety is absolutely, paramount. And also, concussion, there wasn't enough research in the past and enough findings, and people didn't see it as a huge issue only when they seen that athletes that retire retired from dementia later when they picked up the dementia, that it was because of the concussion. And in footballers, footballers are 3 times more likely to get concussed because of the, when they head the ball. So this is a serious health injury, and something that I think they should accelerate the process, and in the next 6 to 12 months have some protocols in place where, the athlete's safety is in place.
Let's hope so, Monty. We can see you down at Shepherd's Bush Cricket Ground. It's looking a bit grey there compared to last Saturday's sunshine. Is sport returning to normal, Monty? What's happening around the country?
Yeah, we've had, like local sports clubs which, play, I think, a huge role, to, connecting the community together. Also, it's about the camaraderie that sports clubs have. And, I play for, obviously, my local team, Twickenham, Cricket Club, and it's vital, that, sports club played a huge role, especially during the pandemic, where loneliness, and people don't have time to socialise, interact with humans. This is, perfect opportunity now after Freedom Day that, we see a lot of people interacting in sports clubs, and sports plays a huge role, in bringing people together.